Roger Bisby, and today I want to run you through the installation of a Bristan Artisan Evo Digital shower. If you hear a few bumps and bangs in the background, that's because we're on a working building site. There's work going on all over the place, but we're safely tucked away in this bathroom, and I just want to run you through the basic installation. Where this Bristan digital shower differs from other showers in their range is instead of having to have the pipes coming through the shower wall, the digital mixer is actually remote from the shower itself. In fact, it can be situated up to 10 meters away from the shower. It's got a remote wireless control which talks to the controller, gives you precise temperature and flow, and all you have coming through the wall is a single pipe. So it makes the installation a lot easier than having to run two pipes through the wall and then one pipe back out to the shower head. That remote digital mixer can be installed under the bath, so long as it's safely tucked away in terms of the electrics, up in the roof space above the shower itself, or in any adjacent cupboard. Now in this case we've got a cupboard, an old airing cupboard, just behind this wall, so it's really the ideal installation for this shower. At some point it's likely, though not inevitable, that you're going to have to drill some tiles to fit this shower. And a lot of people get very worried about that. There's all kinds of tips about putting bits of masking tape on there to stop the drill skidding around and all kinds of things. I've got my own way of doing it, and I use diamond bits. It's worth investing in a diamond bit because if you're drilling porcelain or something like that, it can be very hard going with an ordinary masonry bit. So I've got this diamond bit here, which is good for about 20 holes in porcelain. This drill works with wax, so that it cools it down. If you use other diamond core bits, you need a little bit of water on them to keep them cool. So here's a good idea that can save you some time. You've got one fixed position and one sliding position when you fix the rail. So nominate your hole, the one we've drilled there, and if you want to match up to existing holes where you've removed a shower, all you've got to do is slide that second position up or down until it meets that other hole. It can save you a lot of messing around. The great thing about a digital shower is we've only got to put this one hole through the shower wall, and that's the supply to the shower head. The water comes through already mixed to the right temperature. It's a larger hole, so I'm using a larger core bit to do it, and this is got to be water cooled, so I've got to spray as I go. So we've got a hole drilled through the wall now, and it takes a while to do. It's porcelain tiles, even with a diamond bit. You can't rush these jobs, it's going to take as long as it takes. So just take it easy, don't put it on hammer drill, whatever you do, and just take your time and you'll get there. Now we've got the hole, I'm going to put the outlet through, and this outlet comes with a bit of 1/2 inch thread on it. So I've got myself a 1/2 inch female iron to compression copper fitting there. I'll put a rubber washer in the end there. Some people use fibre washers. I like the rubber washers, they're nice and squashy. Make a good seal. You don't need to put any tape on this, you don't need to put any gunge on it, all kinds of sealant and things like that. It'll just do up because it's not under any real pressure. The pressure is before the mixer. Once the water's mixed, it's running free to the shower head, so that will never be under the same kind of pressure that you get on a mixer shower that's in the wall. So very, very little chance of that ever leaking. And now, tightening it up, no chance of it leaking. So that goes through the wall. We put a little bit of silicone around that hole, just last thing when we've finished, just to make sure no water seeps through there, but really that's absolutely negligible there. With the shower fitted on the wall, the only other bit of work I've got to do in here is to mount this controller. Now this doesn't have to be mounted under the shower at all. If you want to mount it away from the shower area, which is what I prefer, you can then turn the shower on, select the temperature, and you don't have to get into the shower until it shows that it's reached the right temperature. So I might mount it over on the wall away from the actual shower area, but I'll have a word with the customer first before I do that. This is the heart of the system, the Bristan digital mixer. It's remotely controlled by that control on the shower wall, and we're going to mount it in the cupboard here. It's important when you mount it on the wall that you don't mount it horizontally. It must be vertical so that the pipes are going up and down. It can go that way round with the outlet going downwards, or it can go the way we're going to go, which is that way, but never that way. If it's going into a loft, you can mount it flat. And if it's going under the bath or somewhere, you can also mount it flat there, just on the floor. But in this case, it's nice and convenient for us to go there. Here's the lead to the electricity supply. What I'm using here on the ends are some female iron connectors. Now, when you fit these on, don't be tempted to put sealant on, any gunge like that, because in the end here, we've got filters. The filters go on, and you need periodically to be able to undo those connections and clean the filters. So it's important that you have a couple of isolating valves on so that you can isolate the hot and cold supply, turn those off, undo your filters, clean those out periodically, and then you'll make sure that you get the maximum flow. But those will really seal up just on hand tight, just a tiny turn with a spanner, but nothing too much. On the top, I've used a push fit fitting, which has also got a nice squashy rubber washer seal there. I really like these because, again, they just hand tighten down. You never really need to put a wrench on them. You just tighten them down. No sealant, no PTFE tape, nothing like that required. Just firm that up there, and you'll see that that won't leak at all. That'll be absolutely fine. So I've run all this pipe work, and as you can see, it's all been running copper. That's because the householder doesn't trust plastic pipe. They don't like it. They prefer the old-fashioned idea. So that's what I'm going to use here. The only thing is, when I get to here, I don't really want to use a blow lamp on this joint here because that is a plastic connection the other side, and the heat might do some damage. So at this point here, I'm striking a compromise. I'm going for a plastic push fit fitting to make the final connection into there. Then if ever it needs to be removed, it's a very easy job to remove it. I think they put up with this because none of this pipe work here is under any pressure, so I think I can persuade them that plastic's all right in that situation. But as I say, if it was me doing it, I'd probably run the whole lot in plastic anyway. So when we've installed it and we're ready to go, we've got it all plumbed in, and we just want to run it for the first time, but we need to get the air out to purge it. And the instructions are on the front of the box here how to do this, and they're also in the installation manual. So you switch it on and you press the plus and minus for 3 seconds, and then you get a 0. And once you've got a 0, you then press the plus, and that will give you a 1. And then it goes through 12 seconds of purging. You can hear it now, purging all the air out, pulsing away. And now it's finished doing that. That's its 12-second purge, and it's running perfectly normally, and then we can switch it off. And when we're running it, if we just turn it on, we can turn it on to either the 8 litres, the 10 litres, or the 12 litres a minute rather, 12 litres a minute setting, and then we can adjust the temperature down like that, and it's flashing now because it's just going to stabilise. Once it's steady, that means it's reached that temperature of 35. So if we're going to go up again, you watch it, it's flashing. When it reaches 39, it'll stay steady and you know it's reached your temperature. And if you turn it off and then you turn it back on, it remembers it was at 39, that's where it's going to go again, whatever the last user set it at. And when it gets to 39, it stops flashing. So very simple. I'm going to pop that back on the wall now, and the only other thing is, as the batteries get low, you will get a little red light coming up just to show you that you've got low batteries and you need to change those batteries. But they do last a very long time. It's only a radio frequency, so it's the same as batteries in a smoke alarm or anything else. They last quite a long time before you have to replace them. So that's it, the installation's all complete, and I'm just going to give it a little test. As I say, this hasn't gone onto the wall yet because we're not quite sure where it's going to go, but I can use it remotely like this. I can even turn the shower on lying in bed if I want to, but the cameraman's very keen that I should stand in the bath next to the shower to demonstrate the shower. And you know what? He wants me to get wet, but I'm a plumber and it's a bad day if you get wet. So here we go. Full setting, 39 degrees. It's a combination boiler, so it'll stabilise in a minute. And we can turn it down, we can turn the flow rate down, right down to the eco setting, saves a bit of water. I would just say that if you don't want this arrangement, if you don't want the rising rail flexible hose, you can also get the spray head that comes straight through the ceiling. Bristan do that as an option, and you can have an overhead shower with none of the clutter on the wall. All you'd end up with is this on the wall. That's as easy to pipe in, or even easier to pipe in than this, because you don't have to drill any holes in the tiles. You just take the pipe up into the roof space above, and then it lowers down exactly where you want it. It just couldn't be easier. It's got to be the future of showering.